A few weeks ago, I put up a video on how to make money from the bookmakers using a very simple value betting strategy. The feedback on this video was very positive, but quite a few of you said, well, what about all of us that are banned from bookmakers and we've been limited and we can no longer bet with them? So in today's video, I'm going to look at how to value bet on the betting exchanges and make a profit from the likes of Betfair, Smarkets and Matchbook. First off, let's quickly go over what value betting actually means. To get value in sports betting is very simple. We are betting at odds that are higher than they should be. In simple terms, if you're able to bet a football team at odds of 3.0 when their true odds are much closer to 2.0, then you're getting value in the market. Let's say, for example, you are able to buy a PlayStation 5 for £50. Now, the general market rate for a PlayStation 5 is probably about £300 to £400. So if you're able to buy it for £50, then most people would say that you're getting value in that transaction. And you can look at sports betting the same way. If you're able to stake £50 on a team at odds of 3.0, the winning bet would be £100, whereas the true price of that team is much closer to 2, where you should be risking 50 to win 50, then again, you're getting value in that transaction. Sounds simple enough, right? But your question is probably, how do you find odds on the betting exchanges which offer value? How do you find odds that are being undervalued by the market consistently? So there are a couple of ways to do this, but the first one that I wanted to talk about is looking at historical data and historical odds. So we can look over the history of Betfair and we can have a look to see if there are any trends which suggest that something is being either undervalued or overvalued, as we don't just have to back on Betfair, we can also lay bets as well. So if something is being overvalued by the market, if something is shorter odds than it should be, we can also lay that selection. If you're adept with Excel and you know how to code and scrape data, you can get Betfair data from sites such as Odds Portal. You can scrape their historical data and take it into Excel and use that yourself. Or if you're like me, who doesn't know how to do all that type of stuff, I just use a service called Football Bet Data. So I thought the easiest way for me to explain what Football Bet Data does is to actually show you. So this is what you get with Football Bet Data. It costs you £10 a month it costs, and yeah, they've got a ton of historical data that you can look at from both bookmakers and Betfair as well. So this is the football version. They also have a racing version for horse racing, but I just stick to the football as that's what I know. So here you go, you've got all the different leagues that you can have a look at. So you've got Argentinian, Austrian 2. So they've got all of the big leagues, and then they've got some of the smaller ones as well. For example, you've got Norwegian, second division and stuff like that. So you can really dig into it, and you can dig into some of these smaller leagues as well, where it can be a little bit easier to find obvious value. So they have their own prediction model as well, but I won't go into that today. I just want to show you the historical data. So after about 10 games, they throw up their own predictions, so you can have a look at their model as well and see if that brings up any historical value. So yeah, you can filter between different odds ranges as well. So you can see here I can filter between home odds ranges, double chance, over and unders, and you can also look at things by season as well. And by month. So yeah, you've got all these different filters you can use. So I'll just run a query just to show you really how to try and find value from historical data. Alright, so I just wanted to run a query using bet data and show you some historical data, try and find a little bit of value from historical data. So I've selected E1, which is the English Championship, so E0 is the Premier League, then you've got League 1, League 2 and Conference. So I want to see every single game. I want to run a broad query that just shows me every single game between specific odds ranges. So you select all of the score predictions. So this is their model. I'm not interested in what the model tells me, but I need to select all of these because the model after 10 games, it will throw out these score predictions. And I also want matches with no predictions. So the first 10 games that a team plays, I also want to see, because I just want to see historically if there's any value or there's something that's undervalued or overvalued. So I'm looking at draw odds between 3.6 and 4. So this is every championship game where the draw odds are between 3.6 and 4. And I've got the last 4 seasons and the current season clicked as well. So I've already ran this query, and you can choose to export it all to Excel, or you can just view it in the browser. So I'll just show you what it looks like in the browser. So we've got a total of 337 games which match the criteria of the draw being between 3.6 and 4. So this gives you, so that's based on the score predictions. I don't want to see what the score predictions is, I just want to look at the data just based on the odds. So it'll give you the average bookmaker prices. So you've got average bookmaker prices here, and we can see that at average bookmaker prices the draw is actually profitable, but you get a 3% return on your investment. So this is good because if anything wins at average bookmaker prices, then it's going to win at Betfair prices or Smarkets Matchbook prices, because average bookmaker prices are going to be a lot lower than what you can get on the exchange. So whereas this might be, 3%, the bookmakers at average prices, if you're either getting the best bookmaker prices or you're getting the best exchange price you can get, it's going to be a lot higher. You might get a 5-6% return. So Football Bet Data has the Betfair exchange prices, but it only has them for the last year. So they started collecting the Betfair prices in June 2022. But you can see here that it wins. Again, you've got a 16.55% return on your investment back in the draw. It's a small sample size, so you've got 98 there compared to the 328 that they've got with the average bookmakers. But again, this looks promising. And you can see also that the away win is promising as well, so you've got 15% there. And you can see that laying the home team as well looks profitable. So if we compare that to the away win, like I say, it loses at average bookmaker prices, but I would say long term that this also wins with the Betfair exchange. So there you've got two value angles that you might want to look at. You can look at the over prices as well, see if there's anything to look at there. So you can see that laying over 1 goal, so back in the 0-0, looks very profitable as well. So yeah, the same as back in unders, back in under 1.5 and back in no goal to be scored is also profitable. So I'm just going to run a second query just to show what it throws up. And again, I've focused on the championship here, so clicked E1 and I've got all predictions selected and also matches with no predictions. So I've clicked average odds. If you just wanted the Betfair odds, you can click Betfair odds and then it would give you the exchange odds, which they started collecting on the 30th of June 2022. But if you want a bigger sample size, you're also going to want to look at historical average bookmaker odds. So this time I'm going to look at, in the championship, what happens when teams are priced between 2 and 2.3 and they're the home team. And again, I've done it for the previous 4 seasons and the current season as well. So we've got 470 bets here. I'll just go to the bottom. So let's have a look. We'll ignore the score predictions for now. We'll just see what happens with that data. So match result using average bookmaker prices. You can see that the back in the home team between odds of 2 and 2.3 doesn't win. Neither does a draw, it loses quite heavily. But back in the away team actually shows a profit at 2.72%, so that's quite small. And then the results that they got from the Betfair exchange. You can have a look here. It says that back in the draw is profitable, but obviously long term it hasn't been profitable, so that might just be a case of variance, or perhaps we just need more data. But again, the away win is showing profit, so that correlates to what we're seeing with the long term average bookmaker prices. So this could be something that you could take a look at. You could look at away teams when the home team is priced between 2 and 2.3. Let's see if there's any other angles that look profitable. So BTTS, no, they're both unprofitable. Double chance. So again, double chance using Betfair, back in the draw or back in the away team shows profit as well, shows quite a big profit at 11.29%, but historically using average bookmaker prices, it's showing a minus 6.38%. So you can see by using historical data, you can sometimes find angles which have been profitable in the past and look like they would be profitable going forward. However, you can also combine that with either statistical models or your own knowledge of football to find value bets. For example, if you're a big fan of the championship, you might watch championship games every week and you have a good knowledge of the sides. You may be able to just look at the championship market for the weekend and you see that Swansea are priced 3.4 and they're playing away to Sheffield Wednesday, and to you that looks like value. Well, you can run a query and say, how have teams done when they're priced between 3.3 and 3.5 and they're playing away? And you can look historically, okay, has that been profitable? Has it been unprofitable? And then you can kind of gauge whether or not it is usually overvalued or that is usually undervalued. Next up, I wanted to talk about getting 0% commission with the likes of Matchbook and Smarkets, as this is a huge edge that not a lot of people talk about. For example, with the data that we were just looking at with Football Data Direct, all of the Betfair odds include 2% commission. Now, the likes of Matchbook and Smarkets will mirror Betfair's odds 90% of the time. Sometimes there will be a little bit gap, but if you put a bet in on Smarkets or Matchbook, which is also available at the same odds on Betfair, it will 99% of the time get matched. So just by giving yourself 0% commission with these two exchanges, again, you can increase your profits massively. Now, I place around 200 to 300 value bets a month on the exchanges, and I aim to win £150 for every stake. So when I'm backing something at odds of 2.0, I'll be staking £150. to win £150. Now, if I have 0% commission, that saves me £3 per bet. So as you can imagine, when you're staking, when you're making, 300 bets a month, that really adds up. Let's say 80 of those bets win, then that gives me an extra £240 a month that I wouldn't have if I didn't have 0% commission. To get that 0% commission deal, I use Oddsmonkey. So Oddsmonkey is a service which gives you match betting and value betting software. So it costs you £30 a month, but like I was saying, if you're putting a lot of volume in, you're using the exchanges for value betting, then it's going to save you a ton of money long term. Like I'll make an extra £280 a month due to the fact that I'm not paying commission. And I pay Oddsmonkey 30 quid, so that's an extra 250 quid in my pocket. So if you are looking at value betting with the exchanges, then you should really consider getting Oddsmonkey. They offer a lot more than just the 0%, but purely for the 0%, you will also be getting really good value. If you do want to join Oddsmonkey, I'll put a link in the description with a code, which is SST50, which will give you the first month for half price as well, so you'll only have to pay £15 for it. So if you are intending to value bet with the exchanges, get the 0% deal, use Smarkets and Matchbook, and you'll save yourself a lot of money in the long term and make extra money. There are multiple other ways to make a profit on Betfair and find value. You can use statistical models, you can use AI. Some people are able just to make a profit using live feed, which may be faster than the majority of other customers have on Betfair. However, I do know that it is profitable to use historical data and to give yourself 0% commission. Just using those two things, which are fairly simple, can give you a decent edge on the market, and it enabled me to make over £25,000 on Smarkets within a year and hit their premium tier, their premium charge tier. Alright, that pretty much wraps things up. I'll add links to football bet data. Like I say, that costs £9.99, and you can export a lot of the data to Excel as well. So if you don't want to carry on using them for several months, you could sign up for 1 month, grab the data that you wanted, and then use that for your own betting. So that's a very cheap way to get historical Betfair data. I'll add links to Oddsmonkey as well, so you can get the 0% commission deal and get the 50% off your first month. And I'll also add a link to a Telegram group that I have. This is free. I send out selections which I think are value on the betting exchanges, and it's been very profitable so far, so you're welcome to join that. Other than that, thank you for watching. See ya.